Donald Trump, you talk about winning, but do you understand why the West has won? Do you? It wasn't just military power. It wasn't just wealth. It was the cloak of human values, a cloak of freedom and democracy that we have worn for generations. These are the invisible bonds that hold us together. It's the quiet strength of tolerance and respect that we choose to uphold even when it's easier to walk away. That's what's built the peace and prosperity you've always taken for granted. When it was shaken and the Twin Towers fell, you, America, invoked Article 5 in NATO. The only time that call has sounded. And we were there. But you've shown the cloak you own. When you sidelined the very Europe you're telling to step up in your place, instead of standing aside to give us a moment to step up. You spoke to Putin, undoubtedly a war criminal, but not Zelensky. You're stripping away that cloak, just as you strip dignity from everything you touch. I say again, you stand there, cutting a deal with Putin, treating Ukraine, and the rest of us. My American friends say it's as though you are a desperate seller at a bankrupt casino. Do you seriously think you can blackmail a nation fighting for survival, or force them to hand over their wealth in minerals before you graciously allow them to keep fighting for their lives? That's not leadership. That's the cloak of gangsterism. Are you that man? I'm pretty sure you're not. You wouldn't have got here if that's all that drives you. But it can't be all about making you money. John Major noted, "It's extremely odd to lecture Europe on the subject of free speech and democracy at the same time as they're cuddling Mr. Putin. In Mr. Putin's Russia, people who disagree with him disappear, or die, or flee the country, or at a statistically unlikely level fall out of high windows somewhere in Moscow. Let's be clear. You only have the power to behave like a reckless superstar because of the same Western system that you pretend to sneer at, while basking in the applause. That Western system is wealth-backed, and it also shields you. Much of America's wealth is built on corporations from Apple to Zoom, getting rigged tax breaks that we help subsidize. That lost tax revenue, it pays for the US military arsenal, the one you now refuse to use to defend the very system that made you rich. You want to pull back support for Ukraine? I don't believe you do, by the way. I see your hands holds aces, but you must fold them. Europe knows we must rearm, and we will. Will it be using new taxes on American corporations to pay for the defense you say you may refuse to provide? How will Wall Street react when America's free ride ends and global corporations start paying full tax on full profits in our patch? Let's see, how much of a patriot would you be able to be then, when you lose the world underwriting your success? Ukraine is fighting for our values, yours and ours together, the same values that give you the freedom to behave the way you do. Strength isn't just a show. You built your brand portraying strength, but real strength is standing firm when it matters most and letting the world see it. You stand on the shoulders of giants in history, gifted the height of a mountain. Now, if you are ready to build its higher summit, defend democracy, back Ukraine. You hear John Major and just know how he is judged and will be in history as the man who did the heavy lifting delivering the Irish peace agreement. But you? Will history remember you as the man who let the cloak slip, too weak to carry it, too selfish to care? Or the man who backed Zelensky to kick Putin out of our shared, enlarged and strengthened Western world? Then think, the patriot you could be if you are finally strong enough to wear our cloak.